So I feel like I'm finally starting to get the hang of this whole thing. One of the things that I've really noticed, hasn't really bugged me, but I've definitely noticed it, is that I always feel like I have to hurry to the next place. I have zero agenda, zero itinerary, zero, but I always feel like I have to hurry. And I'm working super consciously on not doing that, not feeling that way. So I've been eating, what I do is I have all this food packed. I planned for all of this stuff. And because of that feeling of needing to hurry, I think, I don't have time to pull out the cooker. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. And which is stupid because I do have time. And it's that thing in my head that was programmed in me from when I was so little that we don't waste time. We don't, chop. And so today I start with last night. Pulled into Seaside. Finally feeling a little bit better, although it's not lost on me that I've been dealing with vertigo for the last week because this whole trip has sort of been about this sense of disorientation that I feel. So the vertigo is just right on par with that. But anyway, so I pulled into Seaside, and of course nobody wants vans to park. Everything's an RV, everything, and you have to pay everywhere. And that's one of the reasons that I built what I built, because it doesn't really look like an RV. It doesn't even look like a van. It just looks like a utility truck. And a lot of people make comments on it. Nobody calls it like a travel trailer or anything like that. They all call it a little truck. So I found a nicer neighborhood, kind of down, and I found a place to park, and it was right next to a park, a little community park. So we slept there, and we slept well, and then this morning I got up and I left that area, and I drove around the block and pulled into the park, which was right adjacent to where we would spend the night. And I spent the morning kind of reorienting myself. I tidied up my truck, and I did a couple of dishes that were just kind of kicking around in the back that hadn't been dealt with, and swept out the van, emptied all the garbage, cleaned out my cab from all the garbage that I'd accumulated. And then I felt like, okay, it's time to go. And I was a little bit hungry, but, I just thought, well, I'll grab something. And then I got to driving, and I thought, no, I need to start doing what I said I was going to do. So I said to Lugo, let's find a place to park, and I'm going to stop and fix lunch. So driving along through Gearhart, maybe 10-15 minutes outside of where we spent the night, and I came across this little lake, and it's a county park, and nice. Pulled over and cooked my first meal, like cooked it. I've made plenty of meals, but it's always been from did those dishes, and then I tidied everything up.